Happy Thanksgiving and welcome to week 4 of non-holiday time at Little Ways Kitchen. This week we're taking advantage of the fact that usually after Thanksgiving there's a lot of ground turkey available very affordably at the supermarket, but I'm giving you a couple of recipes that could be easily made with any other kind of ground meat as well. So I'm introducing them with ground turkey, but you could do ground chicken, ground beef, even a meatloaf mix, the sort of veal pork beef mix that you can often get for meatloaf. So the first recipe is an Italian style recipe, so it's baked meatballs. I like to get away from sort of traditional American things right after Thanksgiving when we've kind of had our fill of that. The second recipe is for one pot Thai turkey and rice. It's a sort of Thai comfort food. And then our third recipe is something very different. It's a maple soy salmon. It's very, very simple and goes over very well in my household and hopefully yours as well. We have a very basic template for breakfast this week. It is basic breakfast sandwiches. And basically we're talking about English muffins with eggs and cheese. It's probably more of a reminder or an idea rather than a recipe, but it looks like you've made more effort than you actually did, which is why it's a bonus. So just a few notes about this week. When it comes to meatballs, the big epiphany that I had was starting to bake them rather than fry them. I love them fried. It's actually my preference, but baking them really reduces the mess. It's actually somewhat healthier and just simplifies the whole process overall. So that's the sort of basic concept. And I also put them in chicken broth, which gives you an option for those people in your family if you have any who don't like sauce, but it keeps them also very moist. Which can be a problem with meatballs. Once they cool down, they seem to dry out very easily. I also probably mix a little bit more breadcrumbs than your average person. I tried to rein it in on the recipe itself. But if you have flavored breadcrumbs like panko, which I really prefer, the texture of panko is really good. And I like the flavored one for meatballs. For some things, the flavored ones aren't such a great combination, but for meatballs, flavored panko works wonderfully. And we're doing the roasted cauliflower again. I know you had it in week 1, but I think it's delicious. It goes over really well, and it is a good combo with the meatballs, and then also rigatoni, which is the kind of pasta I prefer with meatballs, but really anything that you and your family like will work very well. I do tell you to buy possibly jarred marinara sauce, or if you can also make your own. There's a lot of good sauces out there in the market if you are up for that, or you can make your own again, whatever makes you happy. But there are a lot of options. When it comes to one pot Thai turkey and rice, I'm asking you, I would suggest anyway, that you get some jasmine rice. Jasmine rice is actually my go-to rice at home because I just really like it, and it works in a lot of different things. It has a somewhat delicate flavor, but it's very substantial, and it's not a rice that I need to be coddling or taking care of in some special way. If you don't know where jasmine rice is in your supermarket, it'll vary a little bit according to store, but it's usually in with one of the Asian sections. It may be kind of low down. Sometimes they bring it into a more conspicuous place, but generally look in the sort of specialty Asian zone. If you go to some place like Aldi or Costco, they'll have sort of bigger bags and more affordable bags, but I don't know if you want the 20-pound bag that they have at Costco, which I do sometimes indulge in. With that recipe, there's a good bit of flexibility with it, but I would not try messing with the quantities too much because it can get kind of funky. But the combination of coconut milk and turkey and rice is really very rich and comforting. With coconut milk, you're going to find this in one of 2 places, usually in your supermarket if you haven't bought it before. It will either be in with the Asian supply or with Hispanic food. So Goya makes coconut milk, and then several other Asian brands also make them. Sometimes it will be in both places in your supermarket. But most supermarkets these days, I'm pretty sure, have coconut milk. I found it in several places in pretty much any supermarket I shop in, which around here is Giant, McCaffrey's, even Aldi sometimes has it, and Costco definitely does. So coconut milk. When it comes to one of the references in maple soy salmon, so basically it's 3 ingredients plus the salmon. One is maple syrup, not maple sauce, that's the soy sauce and orange juice. You do not need to have fresh orange juice. You can just have regular orange juice of any kind. I also sometimes sub this soy sauce for liquid aminos. If you've ever had Bragg's liquid aminos, I don't have them on hand, so I can't show you, but it's kind of if you're familiar with Bragg's apple cider, it's the same guys. And that just makes it a little bit healthier. It's a very basic recipe. It goes over very well in my household. I also sometimes add a little bit of sesame seed if you happen to have that on hand. I sort of like the little additional flavor and crunch. Not necessary. I'm kind of cheating with the vegetable with the maple soy salmon. I recommend jasmine rice with that again, which cook according to your own package directions because it can vary a little bit. I use a rice cooker. With the broccoli, I recommend just getting frozen broccoli and steaming it in your microwave. When it comes to vegetables, if it's something where you're gonna have a sauce involved, which you will have with maple soy salmon, you don't really need to have something as flavorful as a roasted vegetable, in my opinion. I think the sort of simpler preparation of a steaming works really well when you have a sauce. So I'm kind of cheating and just suggesting that you get frozen broccoli this week. With the breakfast sandwiches, what we're talking about is scrambled eggs on an English muffin with some cheese, and if you want, a side of bacon or sausage or ham. Having those things in one package, warm, makes for a delightful combination that looks like you tried a whole lot harder than you did. So I hope you have a wonderful week. Please feel free to reach out with any questions or concerns or requests. And I look forward to being in touch with you soon.